The NFL offseason is here for almost every team, and the trade rumors have already begun. So today's show, we're taking a look at the 15, not ranked, but 15 top trade candidates across the NFL this year. We begin with the first name with a decision having to come very soon. That is Derek Carr, the Raiders quarterback. We've talked a lot about him on the show because you got to make a call by February 15th. About $40 million this year and a little bit next year. Guarantees on that date. The Raiders will cut or trade Carr by that point. Derek Carr wasn't as good this year. Raiders benched him for the final couple games because they did not want him to get hurt and run the risk of an injury and not being able to trade him because it was guaranteed for injury. Carr is done in Las Vegas. It's a matter of where he ends up playing and where he ends up going there via trade or cut. So which one ends up happening? Get those predictions in for me. T for trading Derek Carr, or C for they will cut him. Go vote for me in the comment section. Another big-name quarterback we've talked about here on the show is Aaron Rodgers because much like the Sean Payton rumors and the John Gruden rumors and the Sean McVay, it's a yearly cycle, depending on which year it ends up being. Aaron Rodgers' trade destinations are back. I think he sticks around in Green Bay, but if not, yesterday we broke down the top Rodgers trade destinations. It looks just like that. If you were subscribed with noties turned on, you would have got an alert to your phone with the thumbnail of that video. You could have watched it already. So if you haven't already, subscribe for free videos all season, off-season, free agency, draft, everything else in between, preseason, whatever, right here on Chat Sports, youtube.com/@chatsports. Laramie Tunsil, this one might be a bit of a surprise, but I think there is some explanation for it. Houston's kind of been weird with like their rebuild of signing all these veterans. Laramie Tunsil is due a lot of money this year, and it's kind of either extension or don't. The Texans actually save $18.5 million with a trade. There's 1 year left on his deal. New team owes him that amount of money. It's a bigger name. It's a swing for the fences trade, but no one cares if the fifth-string offensive tackle gets. We care about the bigger names. So I will put Tunsil on this list. And Mekhi Becton. There were reports last year of the Jets being upset with Mekhi Becton, not being in shape, whatever it was. Accurate or not, that was the case. And then he got hurt again. I do think you will see plenty of Mekhi Becton trade whispers leading up to, maybe even past, the NFL draft, although it's fair to wonder how much value there is given the injury history. Not many running backs, I think, get moved anymore because, well, it's a positional value thing. Antonio Gibson could very well be on the move. They brought back J.D. McKissick. Brian Robinson was out playing him. Gibson has had some fumbling woes at points. I think Gibson has a very real shot of being moved this offseason. All right, now to have you guys help me out. I want you to head down to the comments section and name a player for your favorite team who you think they could trade. Maybe it's one of the guys we'll mention. Maybe it's not. It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Let me know which player you think your favorite team could deal. Zach Wilson, another Jet on this list here. No Denzel Mims, not doing more than 2 Jets, sorry. Wilson's contract isn't actually that tradable. It's with the amount that's been guaranteed, some of stuff, it's a little tricky, but the Jets will have a new veteran quarterback in that room. There's no, whether it's a Garoppolo, a Carr, whatever, somebody else will be in there. Maybe Wilson will still be there and trying to learn stuff, but I think he's available for a trade. The problem is he clearly needs time. So he needs a year or two to kind of get reacclimated, adjust some stuff, right? Well, at that point, his contract is over, and you still don't actually know what you have, and that's how busts end up happening. Next up is Trey Lance. He's in a much more different spot than Wilson. I would not be surprised if it's just a Lance Purdy battle next year, but the Niners keep winning. What are you going to do, right, at quarterback? Lance, I think, still has more value because of the unknown factor, where he was always a raw developmental piece, had to have some time, but hasn't played much. He didn't play much in year 1, nor was he expected to. And then year 2, he got hurt. So there's a lot of unknown, which leads to scariness and, fun. Well, what could he be? Maybe you're ready to risk it all still for Trey Lance. If you had to pick one of these 2 quarterbacks to start for at least the season next year, Who is it? That's not a fun question, but we're going to do it anyway. ZW for Zach Wilson or TL for Trey Lance? Let me know in the comment section. Today's NFL Daily is sponsored by Athletic Greens. I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day. Get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because I wanted better gut health and I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. Once I got baby Olivia set up with her breakfast, I make my own AG1. I don't feel the need for caffeine in the morning anymore, and I feel energized throughout the entire day. Plus, AG1 empowers the gut for whole body health. Covering my nutritional bases for the day literally couldn't be any easier now. That's why I trust Athletic Greens. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning. Done. Costs less than $3 per day, and it's a pretty darn good deal if you ask me. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients. Win-win. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out, folks. The link is in the comments and it's in the description of today's video. Absolutely worth it. I am trying to take care of my body a little bit more, especially with what we do during watch parties and whatnot. And AG1 helped me out in a big way. athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Next trade candidate. Ooh, this is a fun one. And when we think, the next two I think have a very good chance of being on new teams. DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals wide receiver. Everyone knows what Hopkins can do. He's not the best 2-year stretch right now. The age and the contract are potential issues. He likely wants a new deal. I don't think it's going to be a first-round pick for him, but hey, not a great receiver class. Maybe a team gets aggressive, but seems like Arizona's going to have a little bit of a mini rebuild, and in that scenario, a player like Hopkins makes a lot of sense. I also think we'll see Brandin Cooks on a new team. Again, Houston, who is still searching for more receiver help. They shopped Cooks at the deadline. They did not find a trade partner. He was fairly unhappy. The production went down this year. I think you can certainly blame some of the quarterback woes he's had in recent years, especially this past year, on that situation. But Brandin Cooks might get cut, might get traded. Plenty of teams will be in the market. Darren Waller is next up here. He and Hunter Renfrow linked by ESPN as potential trade candidates from the Raiders, as the Raiders, what they do with Josh McDaniels, blows up the roster in his own image. They kind of gave themselves an out in this deal. They could save almost $11.5 million with a trade, even after the extension. A lot of it is not guaranteed right now. The new team has him for 4 years, almost $52 million. It's not that bad. I would just keep Darren Waller because he's good at football, but that's a path you could see that the Raiders pursue based on the ESPN report. Keep an eye on it. All right, Leonard Floyd, the Rams edge. This was also mentioned by ESPN as, they could shop him. He's got some contract stuff, right? Well, look, we'll break down the contract here. It's tricky. The new team would have him for 2 years, $31 million, but the Rams save $3 million with a trade. That's it right now, $15.5 after June 1st. So unless they're rebuilding or shop him, after the draft, it just doesn't make enough sense short term. But ESPN mentions it. Normally it means there's some type of buzz around it. Jalen Ramsey, as you've also discussed here in the past in the show, hey, he's still Jalen Ramsey to an extent. Again, much like Floyd, the contract isn't the most easily or sensible traded, but still coming off a good enough year. Not quite like peak Ramsey, but I didn't love the way Raheem Morris used him, but that's just my opinion there in the end. Big cap hit this year, $25.2 million. Much like Floyd, the trade savings come later, and that isn't as appealing to me, with $17 million coming after 6-1. That's that weird timing of making trades happen. The restructure, that's the best route for me. New team owes him 3 years for $55 million, so still top-end quarterback money, but hey, it's Jalen Ramsey. The only way I think Floyd and Ramsey get dealt is if the Rams go, you know what, screw it. We are blowing this up. We are rebuilding. We're done. We're getting out of here. I don't think they do that. But what do you guys think? Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. A name that I really thought for sure was going to get dealt at the trade deadline was Jerry Hughes, the Texans' defensive end, who's coming off the most sacks he's had since 2014. The problem was he had 1 sack in the final, make sure my notes are right here, the final 8 games. That's not exactly good. They missed out on the trade value, but he is under contract, fairly cheap. They can make that happen. K'Lavon Chaisson, let's talk some recent first-round busts now out of Jacksonville. He was always a developmental piece. I think he's also on the cut candidate list at this point. I thought there was a lot of upside there for Chaisson coming out of LSU, but he had 1 sack this year, only played 9 games. He's got 3 career. You can have him for the low price of literally whatever you would offer us. Caleb Farley, meanwhile, unfortunately, has been unable to stay healthy in Tennessee. He's battled injuries pretty much every single year of his career. He missed his final year at Virginia Tech because he opted out, and he hasn't played football much. He's almost the defensive version of Trey Lance right now. He's got a lot of upside, a lot of talent, but if he can't stay healthy, can't play, who knows how good he actually is. The GM that drafted him is out of the building. That's John Robinson. New regime comes in. They're not going to be as committed and as tied to Caleb Farley. So I would not be overly shocked if the Titans at least explored the trade market out there around Caleb Farley. That's a former first-round pick, probably still has some value, but they would be selling at a low point if they chose that. But again, we'll have you guys covered here with more trade stuff. So make sure you're subscribed, youtube.com/@chatsports.